welcome to Drawing with Cheesecake the Cat. I'm Cheesecake. This episode, we're going to draw desert objects. We're going to draw desert mountains, a sun, very hot by the way, a silhouette of a vulture or a buzzard. We're going to draw a desert rock, which actually just looks like a rock. We're going to make it sort of desert-like. And then a desert spider. Ooh. Anyway, if that sounds like fun, grab something to draw with, something to draw on, and follow me. Now, let's draw our desert objects. Let's start by drawing some mountains. Just make a nice straight line. And for the mountains, we're going to make a lot of sort of straight lines and curves. See how that looks? A little bit like a J. Nothing's going to be perfectly flat or level. Then the next set will be maybe a wide one. Short and wide, short and skinny, short and tall. And you can mix it up however you like. Then we'll put a hole through these. These are sort of like, I call them mountains, but they're sort of like mesas, worn down old mountains. Now for the ones in the distance, I won't connect them. I'll keep them separate. I think that makes them look a little more distant, I guess is the right word. And here we go. And then you just finish that shape up. Now you'll notice this big hole. If there are mountains behind, we should be able to see a mountain behind it. On this case, I'm going to use the right-hand side. You could do the left if you like, but I'm going to put some little dashes and lines just to give it some texture, some character. And like that looks good. Maybe one there. And those are your desert mountains. Next, we'll draw a circle. And this is going to be a very warm desert sun. So, start by making short lines going around the sun, fairly close, and you can stagger them a little bit like bricks. Now, after you get a few rows of these, make longer lines and make them farther out, farther apart from each other. These are the heat waves off of our sun. It's making me sweat already. Now next we're going to do a buzzard, or just a silhouette. We won't bother drawing all the details. And in your picture, in the final picture, you could put him wherever you want, but we'll set him right here for now. So let's start by drawing a curve that will be the top of the beak, a curve that will be the bottom of the beak, and we'll give him something of an oval head, but we'll keep the back open for the neck. Now, we'll begin with the wings. We'll curve one up and one down, but then we'll curve it back and around. That's the first feather. And I'll make these wider and spaced apart. And when I get to the inside, I'll do this really short one. There we go. Just wave it around. It looks like a big comb. Now the oval part of the body, I don't like where I put that, so I'm just going to ignore it. Make the body there. And the tail will be like a hook, like a J. On this side, and then another feather. You can give it however many you like. Now when we color this, we're going to just, instead of making it solid, we'll keep a lot of white showing. It makes it scratchy and dry looking, like the desert. So just begin to hash your lines into the shapes. Now here, there's usually a collar or feathers around the neck, so we're just going to put something there to give it shape. You see that bump? And then just continue filling in your silhouette of your buzzard with hashes and lines. You could do scribbles, but what I would try to do is keep those white areas. I think they just make it look very, very scratchy, very dry. You can even hear it. Yes, there we go. Look at that. He's looking very good. Getting there. We're doing the body. And I'm just not trying to fill in every little bit. I'm leaving a lot of white, because he still will look like a silhouette. Then the tail feathers. Here we go. Look at that. How nice. And that is our buzzard flying around the hot sun. Now also, another animal you might find in the desert is a spider. So the head of the spider will look sort of like a piece of corn, where it's wide on one end, pointed on the other. And the second part of his body will just be a circle, but we will pretend it goes behind the head, and then the last part of his body is a much, much bigger circle. And again, we pretended it goes behind this middle section. Now he has put 3 legs on here. We'll just draw them like that. Like one line there. And we'll start to a point, sort of like long triangles. Then 1 down, 2 down, and I'm curving these a little bit as I go to give them some flair. Now before we draw the legs on the other side, we'll do the eye. Make 1 bump there and an oval there. And we can color all of these in except for a little bit for the shine. And here, let's make another little triangle shape, always going out to a point. And we'll make the 3rd one there. These are the other legs. We'll just make the 3. Oh, I didn't connect there. Now his front legs will begin this close one right here at a point with an arm forward and a little hand. We can give 2 little bits. And the other front leg, or the arm, is starting over there, sort of the same. And we'll just do that. Now this spider is going to have a lot of hair, so we'll just make little bitty lines that make long and far apart, all around the outer shape. Then we'll come back in and do shorter ones around the inside, and just keep going until we run out of room. And then we'll put some short hairs on the middle section, like so. And there's our desert spider. Now the last thing for our desert objects will be just some kind of desert rocks. We'll make them a little craggy looking. You can do all sorts, but let's go sort of up. And at this point it will look a little bit like a mountain, but we'll put there, and let's make a rock in front of it. Sort of like this. Make sure that these 2 lines are farther down, go below these 2. So we'll do our sand right to there and stop. And imagine it goes behind and continues there. Now this piece can get a little bit like a sand behind it too, below it too. And then in the horizon, behind it. And it sort of looks like a mountain, but if we put grass around it, suddenly it looks much smaller. You can see that it's a rock. A few specks of sand all around it. Now let's put a line down the side in here, and 1 on this side. And again, I'm doing it on the right, but you could do the left if you chose. Anyway, these are our desert objects. Good job, everyone.
Wow,
I sure had fun drawing those desert objects, and if you did too, I hope you will subscribe to my show, Drawing with Cheesecake the Cat. Anyway, I feel a little bit thirsty. I could use a nice bowl of ice-cold ice water. You're a person, though. You should probably use a cup, not a bowl. Anyway, I hope you will come back next time. Until then, draw, 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 and draw some more. Bye-bye. Wow, I really am thirsty. Need a drink.